Hey, welcome to the Viewer's Choice. I hope you're all well. I've just watched El Topo from 1970, as voted for by you guys on the poll. Had 4 films up. This one was the victor for this week, and it's directed by, I'll try and pronounce his name right, well-known director, done a lot of weird, obscure films and stuff. Alejandro Jodorowsky. It's El Topo. 1970, and I have to say, this might be a very strange sort of my thoughts and review. It's not going to be a review as such, it's more of a reaction of my thoughts, and I have to say that is one of the weirdest film experiences I've ever had. It's Sunday morning, I've sat and watched the film. It's 2 hours and 4 minutes long, just around there, and one of the most bizarre experiences ever. I mean, what the hell have I just watched, and what the hell did you vote for me to watch? Like, so weird. It's utterly bizarre. I've made some notes and things. I'm going to go over like the things I liked about the film and the things I didn't. I didn't hate the film at all. I just found it really jarring, odd, bizarre, crazy, nuts. Absolutely out of this world. Really, in a sense, it's such an oddity. As I said, it's a 1970 film. Sort of starts off with this guy, El Topo, riding around on his horse. He's got what appears to be maybe his son. There's a little naked boy on his horse, which is really strange, a naked child going on the back of his horse. He's obviously his protector. Stumbles across a massacre in a village. There's been total slaughter. It's got bodies impaled on spikes. Really brutal stuff. Looks like very horrific. It's a massacre. There's dead animals with their guts out and everything. There's streams of blood, people hanging, blood smeared on the buildings, and it goes from there. And he comes across a bunch of guys and he wants to know what's happened in the village. He shoots them down, asks who did it. He's told it's the colonel and 5 other men. And we go from there, and you think that the film will kind of build off of this, and he'll come to into a sort of showdown with the colonel and these 5 men at the end of the film. I would have assumed. No, straight away shows the 5 men who are with the colonel doing weird stuff like stripping these gentlemen down and literally riding them like little horses, blood all over their bottoms. He kills the colonel. I think he cuts his man bits off. It doesn't really show you, but the colonel's like naked walking away holding his nether regions, and shoots himself in the head, commits suicide. Then things get really weird. A lot of scenes with this female, like she's almost with El Topo but also not, and she's like fighting him. I'm not even sure if the guy is called El Topo. I don't even know if that's just the name of the film. I'm really thrown off a little bit. I read all the dialogue, but it does have minimal dialogue. There's just a lot of weird trumpet music and things and going on, like a lot with the score. So let's just have a little look. But yeah, I'm really thrown off. I really found this very bizarre. And I'm a big fan of weird movies and I love bizarre stuff, but this was just one of the weirdest things I've seen. And I've seen The Holy Mountain from the same director. I know he's a very notorious director and got a lot of a following, big following. Yeah, it was El Topo, played by Jodorowsky himself. He actually gets killed in the film, sort of like halfway through. Then you go into this weird, more like sort of civilized, well, I say civilized, they're not civilized, but this more sort of advanced area like in the West, and they're bringing in slaves, and there's like a lynching, and it's so weird. I'm really thrown off. I don't even know what to say, really. I'm nearly speechless. It's that bizarre. Such a weird film. I thought to myself, is everybody insane in this film? Very little dialogue, bombastic trumpet score, which was kind of cool. So weird, I felt like I needed drugs, or perhaps I'd already been on the drugs and was imagining this whole thing. Yeah, maybe I took some. Lots of bloody gun battles, which were cool. I'll go over some of the cool like artistic scenes in there because it was very artsy. There's some great like shots and great like kills and things like that. It's like a series of bizarre vignettes. Yeah, plethora of random gunfights and brutality, random fights. Lesbian gunslingers, old women getting it on. Later on in the film, there's in this building, I think it might be a church, there's a game of Russian roulette involving a crowd of people. And as a whole, I thought the film had the structure and logic of a crack fiend's fever dream. They're sort of my thoughts on it. They're some of the notes I took down while I was watching it. Yeah, I put the structure and logic of a crack fiend's fever dream, and I wondered if I was on drugs watching it. It is really weird. I've seen The Holy Mountain. That's really bizarre too. I thought this one was a little bit crazy as well. I thought it might be a bit more of a... I know the director's very strange and odd. A lot of metaphors in there and things like to do with life and death and all of that. That's what I assume the metaphors are anyway. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't quite get the film. I did concentrate on the film somewhat, but I did find it very jarring and very bizarre. There's a great scene where these men are like have sacks put over them, and they're, you know, like a firing squad kind of shoot at them, and all the blood trickles down through the holes on the white, and it's just really artistic. Like, there is a lot of artistic flair in this film, I will say that. Obviously Jodorowsky, I'm going to say. I find his name hard to pronounce, I don't know why. Jodorowsky, you know, he's got a lot of like eye for good visuals and like artistic flair. That was the best thing about the film, was like the score, the weird set pieces, you know, with all like the different characters and things. The narrative I didn't enjoy. That was one of the bad things about the movie, I thought. Narratively, it just didn't make a lot of sense to me. I think it's because it's all like built on metaphors, and through like metaphors being illustrated through like bizarre imagery and strangeness. Yeah, one of the weirdest things I've seen. A lot of violence in it as well, pretty brutal stuff. Especially that opening scene with the massacre in the village. I thought that was crazy. You know, and just the bodies impaled on the spikes. Very reminiscent of like on Cannibal Holocaust, where that happens. But in a different position. These were kind of lying on the spikes with the spike going through them as the body was kind of lay horizontally. Yeah, one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had. I don't even know what to say, really. Like you can probably tell, I'm a little bit lost for words. It was so strange. You know, like I said at the beginning, like, you've really voted a weird one for me, and I can see why. It makes for interesting discussion, and like it must be fun for some to vote for a film like this for somebody who's never watched it before for a first time viewing, because it is utterly insane. And I'm gonna have to do something quite normal and regular to cleanse my palate a bit, because that was just a bizarre experience. Like, you've not been up long in the morning, and then you just suddenly have a shower, get ready, and you're like, okay, I'll sit down and watch this film that's been voted for me to watch. Crazy stuff. Yeah, El Topo. I will rate it. I thought it was very artistic, some great visuals, great little set pieces. The acting was very well coordinated. The fights were very well choreographed. Some great artistic shots with the violence. The massacre in the village, whilst being horrific, also looked very authentic. You kind of felt like how bad that the slaughtering of those people in that village must have been, because it looked a mess. Streams of blood. You got the little kid naked, like standing in the blood. You got El Topo handing him a gun to like finish somebody off. When he comes out of one of the buildings, which is also covered in blood on the walls and smeared on there. He's with the little kid. There's a guy crawling around. He basically just says, you know, kill me. El Topo hands the pistol to the child, and the child shoots him dead. And then it goes from there. It's, yeah, insane movie. I'll rate it anyway. Like I say, great artistic like flair. Obviously the director's very like competent. I did enjoy the visuals, very weird imagery. I just found this sort of lack of I mean, I love weird stuff, don't get me wrong, but I do like somewhat of a cohesive narrative. Very bizarre film. I'll rate it. I'll I'll give it I'll rate it out of 5 stars, so I'll give it 2.5. I'll be honest, I didn't really like the film that much. I thought artistically it was great. It looked good. It did drag on a little bit. I thought it was a bit long at 2 hours plus. 90 minutes might have been a little bit more adequate for this movie. For me, anyway, for my liking of films and taste. I thought 2 hours was a bit long for it, but obviously they wanted to sort of get in what they needed to get in to the film. Yeah, very weird stuff. Artistically quite brilliant, and I'm not sure I even understand it. So I'm going to have to do some deep diving online and see if I can read some essays and things like that. And I'll probably go and watch the special features. I watched the Arrow video Blu-ray, so I can always go back and watch the special features. Anyway, what do you think of the film El Topo? Have you watched it? What do you think of my opinion on it? I thought visually very good, and it was it had a lot of artistic merit, but very weird. And I love weird stuff, and even I'm a little bit weird. I think we all are in our own way. But that film was just, I don't even know. Yeah. I don't really know what to think about it. If you've listened, thanks for listening anyway. That's the end of it. I'll see you on the next one.